Boomer Sooner.
Handoff up the middle, easy like Sunday morning, touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Ikert.
And as we welcome you inside the Coach's Corner, we're pumped and honored to be joined by Sooner legend and OU running backs coach DeMarco Murray. What's going on, Coach? How's game week going?
It's been good.
Good, man.
Going really well, and again, guys have had 2 or 3 good days of practice, so we're excited.
As always, the show is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. In our opening segment, brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. We're off to Auburn, or on to Auburn, back to the Palace, but you were off to Philadelphia this week, and old stomping grounds for you and the Link. What was it like being back home, and how'd you, well, not back home, but back where you played a long time. How'd you feel about the way your team played?
I thought we played good. Again, obviously want to take care of the ball, want to be a little bit more efficient in the run game, and again, overall, I thought our guys were ready to play. First road game, you're always a little anxious about that, but again, we had a really good week of practice, got a really good core of leaders and guys who've obviously played a lot of football, and some young guys who are stepping up for us. But again, we were proud with how they came out, how they handled themselves on a long flight. And then just getting out there and playing ball for 4 quarters, it was really good for us.
You mentioned how they handled themselves. It was a weird game from the sense that it was sandwiched in between 2 really big ones. Mm-hmm. You had the Michigan game, now you've got the Auburn game. What do you think it says about the team as a whole that they went on that trip and started the game the way that they did, and really the thing was never in doubt?
I think overall, just you see it from spring, you see it from camp, our offense and as a team, we've just consistently gotten better, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want to call it. And it's a testament to our schedule, testament to how we practice and how we handle things. But again, ultimately, it's up to the players. It's a players' team, players' game. And again, they got to choose every single day to wake up, go grind, go attack, ignore all the craziness and the noise outside. But again, it was really good for our guys to go on the first trip, far away from home, but again, just playing the way that they're capable of playing together, playing physical, playing fast, and again, finishing was a big thing for us. But I think we did that. I think we established, ourselves in the physicality of things, and again, we're continually getting better. So that's what you want to see as a coach.
Let's just get this one out of the way, because it's maybe the number one question that Sooner Nation has right now, and that is Jaydn Ott.
Yeah.
Missed a lot of time in training camp with the injury. Is it as simple as, hey, other guys showed consistency and those guys are playing really well, and Jaydn just hasn't been able to show that consistency on the practice field?
Yeah, he's a terrific kid. I mean, he's an unbelievable person. And again, Jaydn is, he's about the right stuff. And again, it's my job, it's our job to continue to, bring him along. And again, I think he's getting there. But he did miss a lot of time. And again, the other guys are just playing, at a consistent basis. And again, they're doing things that we're asking them to do at a high level right now. And, I think with J.O., I think he'll eventually get there. And he's come to work every day. He has the right attitude. He has the right mindset. And again, he's a veteran player, so he knows how to get himself going, knows how to get things going. But again, it's hard to change things up when offensively and as a team you're winning, you're having success, and the things that we're asking our guys to do, not just run the ball. Those guys are doing it at a high level, and again, opportunities are whether it's 1 or 20, you got to take advantage of them. And he'll continue to get them as best we can, and again, we got to continue to play hard and win ball games.
One of the reasons we haven't seen a ton of Ott is because Torrey Blaylock's a dog. I mean, I have been blown away by him and what he's doing out there as a true freshman, especially when you consider the shoulder injury he had against Illinois State. DeMarco, just what have you seen day in and day out from this young guy? Once again, I am blown away by his level of play right now.
Just consistent. You know, that's my first thing that comes to mind. Again, terrific kid, unbelievable kid, great family, obviously from Houston. And again, you think about Blaylock, and you know, obviously he's running the ball well, he's catching, he's blocking. But my biggest thing, he hasn't had one MA. You know, hadn't had one MA in 3 games. And honestly, I can't remember the last time he had an MA. Just a blown assignment, a missed assignment. So he's very particular in taking notes and being detailed, and he asks a lot of great questions. And for a young guy to, you know, we put a lot on him. You know, I put a lot on him individually. And again, there's a standard that needs to be played and met here, you know, from an emotional standpoint, a mental standpoint, obviously a physical standpoint. And every single day he comes to work with the right mindset, the right attitude. And again, we're proud that he's a Sooner.
You are one of the best, maybe the best, pass protecting running back I ever played with. Duke Johnson also in the conversation.
Yeah,
but
good.
That piece of Blaylock's game has maybe been the most impressive, because that's usually what you're worrying about with the freshman running back is recognition when it comes to blitzes, what the defense is trying to do, and then the physicality of those plays. He's been excellent in those situations.
He has. And again, for us, you know, protecting that pretty good quarterback we got back there.
He's pretty good.
That's line number 1. Again, we're going to obviously make plays in the run game, but you got to protect 10. Can't let him get touched on our watch, you know. So again, for Torrey, it's 1-2, it's Will. Obviously, the technique things. Again, that's my job to continue to clean those things up. And he's very comfortable back there. But he's a physical player. He's a guy that is willing and wanting to do those things that, again, it means something to him, as it should, you know, as it should for an offensive lineman, a tight end, and obviously a running back. Again, that's your quarterback. Don't let him get touched on our watch. And again, we watch a bunch of film. We know what's coming, and we know how these guys blitz. You know, some guys are head rushers, some guys are wiggle guys who want to create a short edge. But again, he's a student of the game. He takes a lot of great notes. He pays attention to what guys do right and what guys do wrong. And again, he capitalizes on that. So, but Torrey's done a really good job at protecting.
I obviously come at it from a fan perspective, but also a guy who gets to interview these players after games. I want him to continue to be good because he's a great interview. Like, dude, as far as he's
just
awesome.
Getting started.
Yeah,
he's just scratching the surface, which is the most exciting part.
But is it fair to say he's a guy that maybe with some of the injuries that room dealt with during the fall that really took advantage of that opportunity whenever he got in there?
Yeah, he did. Again, at this game, next level, whatever, you know, it's always the next man up. And again, whether you get opportunities by injury or whether you get them by default, again, you have to take advantage over those opportunities. And whether it's a walkthrough rep, whether it's a rep in spring, rep in camp, us as coaches, unfortunately, it all matters. You know, it all matters. Every rep matters, and you build confidence through doing things consistently right. And again, if you're batting 95% on a lot of stuff, you know, it speaks for itself. So again, he's continually gotten better, continually taking advantage over his opportunities.
There is always a place for a guy that is reliable and physical.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I see with Javante Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you seen from Javante? Because he's kind of taken a secondary back role with the emergence of Torrey. But what have you seen as far as his improvement so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, he's the leader of that group, works every single day as hard as he can. And again, there's not a more selfless person on the team, in that room. And again, having gone through a lot of injuries like he's had and dealt with a lot of things, and, you know, dealing with 3 different offenses since he's been here, leading with the head coach who, again, he's a guy that I talk about at, you know, there's a lot of people who like this place, but there's people who love this place, and Javante loves this place. And again, for me, I love this place with all my heart. And you know, head coaching change, he stayed on the ship. Coordinators leaving, he stayed on the ship. Dealt with a lot of stuff. But you talk about a guy who is as physical as any player we have on the team, a guy who cares. And again, he's not worried about whether he gets 1 carry or 20 carries. He wants to win. He wants to obviously lead these guys. And again, he's done a really good job with Torrey as far as just taking him under his wing, you know, since he's gotten here, showing him how to work, showing him how to take care of his body. But again, Javante is going to continue to help us win games, and he's going to, you know, whatever it takes for us. He doesn't care whether it's special teams, running back, fullback, quarterback, it doesn't matter. So again, I'm proud of him and proud of where he's at. But again, he'll continue to be a part of the game plan and give us great chances to win.
All right, our opening segment, as always, is brought to you by Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. More with DeMarco Murray. We'll talk about the big matchup against Auburn coming up next inside the Coach's Corner. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, it's always a good time.
We got one more segment here with DeMarco Murray inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. And our second segment here with Coach is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today, all right? We got more guys we want to ask about but in your room, but I want to talk about a guy that's not in your room but has shown he can run the football. How about that, John Mateer, running the football? Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Extremely. Just a pro. It's really good and refreshing to see someone of his stature. Obviously, a quarterback at this place, that's what you're used to seeing. In the building all the time. Great leader, leads by example. Obviously, a vocal leader, but again, I like to see him tucking and running, but hey, protect yourself. I'm always telling him to protect yourself.
Sideline in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, just know when the play's over. But again, he's a very, very consistent player. But again, he's very, very good at running the ball, obviously. But again, he's a guy that we're going to count on and continue to count on.
How does that threat of John Mateer running the ball and all these different concepts, how does that open things up for your guys?
Yeah, it does. Again, really, obviously, the quarterback run game, +1 run game. But again, obviously, when you have a quarterback who's very good with his legs and obviously can throw it, what's the defense going to do? You got to pick your poison. You want to have an extra guy in the box. You want to obviously play too high. So again, for us, it's just always making those guys stay on their toes and account for him in the run game, but also, there's going to be a gap here or there that, may not be accounted for because they're constantly worried about the quarterback. But he does a really good job at obviously finding space and obviously getting the yards when needed.
This is going to be a dumb question, DeMarco, but I've been wanting to ask you for years. TV side, we're watching highlights. Your guys are so good at the mesh point of knowing, all right, he's given me or he's not. What's the key for a running back to make that as successful as it is? No, the quarterback has the ultimate call, but what's the key to make a running back?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So, again, for us, we are always getting the ball until we're not. That's my biggest thing with these guys. Again, don't press it, don't stress it, but again, you're getting the ball until obviously you feel the quarterback obviously take it out of your hands. But again, when that becomes the issue, then you obviously become a blocker, or we call it a disconnect. Don't take unnecessary hits and things of that nature. But when you are in the +1 run game, obviously you got to go get a block. So really good question, not dumb at all.
Okay, I've been wanting for years.
That's a great question.
Listen to me. You guys have been really good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been something that's been a strength, and obviously it's something we'll see a lot against Auburn. So as you've had a chance to start breaking down the big game Saturday, what have you seen from this Tigers defense?
Yeah, really good defense. Again, obviously having dealt with them a year ago, the front is really good. Probably one of the best fronts we've faced so far. And then, just on the back end, they're good veteran players. But again, the linebackers are really good, 17-0. Those guys would be really good. The number 19, the nickel coming off the edge. So again, very aggressive defense. They're physical. They want to probably stop the run for the most part. But again, there's got a lot of weapons outside, at the receiver position. And again, we're excited about the matchup. We know it's going to be a hard matchup, but we feel confident about the game plan, about where we are physically and mentally heading into Saturday.
I can't lie. As I've watched Auburn, really like bringing their inside backers in the blitz game. I cannot wait for Javante Barnes in some of those collisions. It's going to be great. But what's it like for your guys knowing that, hey, that pressure's coming? Like, that's going to be a big piece of what they do defensively.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is obviously for us, man, use it to our advantage point. Again, once you stone them and you keep them on the line of scrimmage, it's going to stop. But again, if there's any leakage, any blood in the water, they're going to continue to add on. They're going to continue to do things that probably are not good for us. So for us, man, we work it constantly. All of our guys know that, hey, if you want to play in the game, if you want to play at this university, you got to protect the quarterback. And again, we take it to heart. But again, our guys have really done a really good job, and I'm proud of those guys for taking care of the ball and protecting the quarterback over these first 3 weeks.
We've talked about Blaylock, Barnes, and Ott. We've not talked about Xavier Robinson.
Yep.
Who I thought against Temple, like his pace, especially in the gap scheme stuff, it just looks very natural, very fluid. I know he missed some time in camp as well, but what type of progress are you seeing from Xavier?
Yeah, he's getting back to form, and again, missed a lot of time, missed most of camp, if not all of it, besides the last couple of days. But again, the one person that I'm constantly not worried about work ethic wise and being mature to handle, just the offense and things of that nature is Xavier Robinson. Terrific kid, has an extremely bright future, a kid who wants to be great, a kid who wants to play, and again, another selfless individual that, for us, man, we love having him on our team. But again, he's just a really, 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 really good football player. Whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do it with all of his heart. And again, starting to get him going a little bit more, so it's good to see him out there have some success, get his feet wet. So again, he's going to continue to have some big plays and big days for us.
Is it as deep? I mean, as deep of a running back room as you feel like you've had?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's and again, you want to obviously play as many guys as you can, but obviously you can't. You can't do that. Everybody can't play. Everyone can't get reps. But but again, I think with the guys that we have, they all do something a little bit differently that's really good for us when we need it in that moment. So, those guys are all, again, when you see them have success, those guys are the first ones off the bench rooting and cheering for each other. So we got a great room, a really great mindset within the room. But again, it's very competitive as well. Makes my job a little easier because they know that, hey, you got to bring it every day at work. You got to show up and you got to make plays. So if not, you'll be over there sitting with me. So
we saw some flashes last season from Taylor Tatum. He's unfortunately been dealing with multiple injuries. But what's his progress like? What have you seen from him, and could we see him back anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Again, Taylor Tatum is probably the most athletic player on the team. Great guy, he's very gifted. He's working back again. He's missed, all of camp. So we're trying to get him slowly back in, and he's worked his tail off over the last couple of weeks to get himself back in shape. But again, you want to be smart with him, and you want to be smart with how we're doing things. But again, when you've had some things that he's had over the last couple of days or weeks to keep him out, you just want to be smart with him. Get him back going slowly but surely. But again, we're very proud of where he's at and where he's going to continue to be. So again, Taylor's going to be a huge part of this team.
I saw him warming up before the Temple game. He looks great physically. Yeah. Like he's added, it looks like a lot of good weight. Yeah. Like he is noticeably better put together this season.
Yeah, he's close. Again, he's trimmed down. He's added some muscle. So again, Taylor is in a great headspace. He's locked in on meetings. He's with us all the time. Just hadn't obviously practice. Got to get him, caught up to practice and things of that nature, and he'll be there. But again, we're excited about him. That hopefully here very soon that he's back with us.
Before I let you go, I think you're probably on maybe the third or fourth different offense since you've been here. Give me your perspective on Ben Arbuckle and the job that he's done so far and what it's like to work with him.
It's unbelievable. You're talking about a guy who is to me very refreshing, so to speak. And again, I've been a part of not coaching for a long time. It's only my 5th, 6th year, I think. But just in the football, in the locker room, I've been a part of it for a long time in my life. And rarely do you get a guy who has it all. He has a relationship aspect. He has obviously the X's and O's. But again, he's a great person. And when you have all three of those things in common with football, you're a connector. You bring people gradually together. And he's smart as hell. He's a hard worker. But he's a connector with players and coaches. He's connected with coaches and coaches. And again, he's a breath of fresh air. We're excited to have him. Obviously blessed to have him. But he's a hell of a person, a hell of a coach as well.
The best thing I can say about a coordinator is when I'm doing my prep for a game and I think about our strengths as an offense, our strengths when it comes to the offensive roster, and then what I believe the defense's weaknesses are.
Right.
So far, he's 3 for 3. Attacking their weaknesses and utilizing our strengths. And that's all you're looking for from your coordinator.
No doubt. Again, there's not a smarter guy in the building than Coach Arbuckle. Again, he understands, one, our strengths as a team, as an offense, but also, hey, how do you depict the deficiencies of the defense and of the play caller. You know, how do you put them on their heels consistently and constantly have them thinking about what we're going to do next, and they have no damn clue. So, you know, he's done a really good job, and again, very, 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 you know, funny guy. Very funny guy.
Underrated sense of humor,
Yes,
right?
no doubt.
He needs to show more. Thanks, DeMarco. Best of luck on Saturday
Appreciate
night.
it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
This segment's been brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions. We'll shift to the defensive side of the football next, inside the Coach's Corner. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
All right, the newest member of the Oklahoma Sooner defensive staff joins us, Nate Dreiling, him from Utah State. Inside backers and so much more. Coach, thanks for hanging out with us inside the Coach's Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
East-West Shrine Game teammates.
There
Oh, were
it
you
is.
really?
Yeah.
There it is. Big time.
Do you ever showcase the old film of you knocking guys around?
No, I'm sure I just got whooped by Gabe over here in practice.
No.
That's why
This
my,
is a
that's
true
why my
story.
NFL stint was very short because this guy.
He came up to me. He was like, "We played an East-West Shrine Game." I was like, "Dude, I'm a psycho." I looked at when we were going to playing that. I watched film on every guy, and I was like, "Who is this crazy white backer who's making a gajillion tackles?" That was
Something
him.
like that.
You took the East West Shrine and got to go to the Senior Bowl, too.
Oh, it was a fun 2 weeks.
We got a
Body
great.
was hurting, huh?
That's good. Well,
Miserable.
Coach, we're real excited that you're here in Norman, and obviously everyone's pumped that Oklahoma has started 3-0. This segment is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. I always give this disclaimer. You've more than moved on to Auburn, but thoughts on the way this defense played against Temple and just the vibe so far this season on the defensive side of the football?
The coolest thing about this team is we play a bunch of guys on defense, right? And I'll speak on that first. And you wouldn't know if this guy's a starter, if this guy's a backup, on how they talk to each other, how they communicate, and how they carry themselves. We have guys that run out first. I don't necessarily label anybody as starters, though, on defense. And I think you have to have that mindset, whether you're the first guy, second guy, or third guy. When I'm out there, it's my job to get it done, and the team counts on me. And I think the comfortability that everyone has, regardless of who's next to you, is what's separating us right now. We got to keep that up going into SEC play.
I want to talk about the communication against Temple. That is an offense that does a lot of different things. Shifts, motions, different personnel groupings. It didn't seem like there were any issues from a backer standpoint, hardly at all. Just what did you see from your guys when it came to handling everything that group threw at you?
I think the last 2 weeks, that was kind of Michigan's game plan, not only shifting, but then double shifting and getting emotion as well. The cool thing about it, the linebacker position, obviously you're the segue from the front end to the back end. So if someone messes up, to me at least, it's the linebacker's fault. So not only over communicating, but using pre-snap identificators. Is this guy motioning? Is he in a stack formation? What's going to happen out of it? But it gives you a lot of pride looking back and watching those games and finding very little misalignments or misassignments because of how well we're communicating. Now we got to do it with 85,000 shouting in the stands, so it'll be fun.
But they're rooting for you, so that's a good sign, right? That's a good
where
sign.
you want to be.
I feel sometimes as fans, we want to talk so much about the new guys or the guys we haven't seen a lot that we lose sight of just the consistent performers that have been doing it. And with that said, I think Kip Lewis has been fun, outstanding, solid. What have you thought of Kip so far in his, second season as a full-time guy out there?
I think the first thing that pops up is just his energy. This dude on game day is a whole different monster, right? And I think that not only the players feed off that, the crowd feeds off that, but he makes plays that, in my mind, humans should not be able to make. Like, how is he doing this? I'm definitely not teaching it. It's all God-given. But he does a great job with the people underneath him, too, embracing them and getting them rolling. So couldn't be more proud of him as well with the other linebackers.
Have you ever thought about telling Kip to maybe not bounce around so much
To
on
save
game
some
day?
energy?
Like
No.
he seems like he has endless energy during the football game. It's insane to watch from the sideline.
Pre-game, I do tell him a lot, like, hey, let's bring it in a little bit before we start cramping up here. We're an hour and a half till kickoff, and he's got energy bouncing off the roof. But that's why he's a fan favorite, I think, in my mind.
You not only see 10 when you see all these plays, but you see 11.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had earmarked Kobe McKenzie to be, all right, you're the next Danny Stutzman, buddy. Let's go. But I guess everyone, most of your guys have the green dot, right?
So you get one at a time that'll play with it.
Right.
Typically, the Mike linebacker is going to be the guy with the green dot. So Kobe, we actually created an award after the Michigan game. We hand out, best DB award, best D-line award. We created the general award, which is getting people lined up, getting everyone on the same page. And I think that kind of sums him up. He's been in the system for so long. He's so comfortable, but he's so confident when he speaks. Back to Gabe's question earlier, why are we doing so well with motions and shifts? I think he's a huge part of it.
It's crazy. I mean, it is wild. He's been here for a minute, so he's ingrained in the defense. Nate Dreiling, this is your first year. What was the process like for you to learn this defense? How different was it for you? And did you have some help from Kobe?
No, it's a very complex defense. In the springtime, I really didn't say anything at all. I was listening to those guys coach me up. They've been here for so long, and they know exactly how Coach V wants to look. But the best part about this group, man, they're wise way beyond their years, and they've all played a bunch of football. Now, not even mention Kendall Daniels in the room, right? Who's played over 2,000 snaps of college football. So a lot of experience and a lot of want in that room.
What has the collaboration between you and Venables been like? Because we all know, hey, inside backer is his thing.
Yeah.
So what has that collaboration, that partnership been like between you two?
He's given me a lot more freedom than I thought, right? Everyone I told him was going to take this job, they're like, man, so not only is he going to be the head coach, he's going to be the DC, and he's going to overlook the linebackers. That's a lot looking at you. But that's one of the reasons I took the job was to learn from him, right? But he's given me a freedom to kind of branch out and do it my way as long as it fits schematically with what we want. And I think the linebackers have really appreciated maybe a different set of view on it, and I think that combined with Coach Goodwin and what he's brought to that LB room as well has been an awesome fit.
I think what's really cool is Brent is the DC, like he's calling the defense, but you mentioned that freedom. He's not over in the huddle as much as you might think he would. That's a trust in you guys and what you're doing. How much has that meant to you? So for now, he'll get over there. We saw him; he was fired up after they forced a field goal. whenever they had the turnover.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, he was fired up, and he should have been. I think we all were. But what has that meant to you, as you mentioned, that freedom? Because it's his defense. He's the head coach, but all of you guys are given that freedom to do your jobs over there.
Yeah, that's cool. Last year I got to experience that exact role with him, with being the head coach and also calling the plays. And you have to be able to let other people handle their stuff so you can have the right mind space, right? Because his mind's going 9 million miles an hour on game day, whether it's clock management, defensive personnel. We're going to fake a punt here, however we handle that. So knowing that he does have trust with me and then the rest of the defense staff, it's an awesome feeling. But I think the players thrive on that as well. Why does he trust us? Because the players are playing well, right? And they feed off that, and then everyone has each other's back, and you grow all together.
How much did you learn about game management last year? What was that like for you, being such a young guy and being thrust into, all right, I'm calling this defense, but all right, there's 3:30 left, do I want to burn a timeout here? What was that process like for you?
The big thing I learned was you just can't do it all, right? The start of the season last year, we were kind of had a rough start, and I was probably just too thin, wasn't focused enough on defense, and I'd go to run the clock, and so defense would struggle. And in the second half, I kind of divvied it up a little bit more, right? And that goes back to what Coach V's doing, like having trust in who's around you. So that was the number one thing I took away. Hire good people, trust what they do, and you take care of your own.
This staff, you look at the staff as a whole, you got a bunch of guys with coordinator experience, a bunch of guys with head coaching experience. Just how valuable is it to have all of that experience in one room as you're preparing for games and, of course, on the sideline on game day?
Yeah, I think it makes the weeks a lot of fun. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, you're in the office till 10 or 11 p.m. But listening to these guys talk and the ideas they have and the solutions they can come up with so quickly, just from how diverse the staff is been unbelievable. I think it's been a cool blessing for this defense so far. Whether it's Coach Goodwin or Coach Call or me or whatever, Coach Villi, I think everyone on the back end brings such good stuff. And then obviously Coach Bates, arguably the best defensive line coach in the country, and you see how those guys play, and right into Coach Javis on the edge. So it's a cool blend, and everyone kind of embraces their role.
You mentioned the back end of the defense. Venables has mentioned many times now in his press conferences about the back seven meeting. Mm-hmm. What have those meetings been like for you, and how much do you think those have contributed to just how good you guys have been against the pass so far this season?
Yeah, when I've never actually experienced those before I got here, and I kind of sat in those first meetings and I didn't really talk to my linebackers at all. Like Coach V's running it, and everyone's kind of chiming in. You have to find your time to talk. But what was good for me and what's awesome, it brings these younger players up, is you hear the perspective of all the players around you, right? And the coaching points that everyone's here. So you're not necessarily focused on your little puzzle piece, but you get to see the big picture, which is hard if it's just a position meeting, right? So I think that brings along players even faster, especially in the transfer portal era. Like Kendall Daniels is playing 3 to 4 positions a game here, and that's a lot, especially in this defense, and he's picked it up fast, I think, because of those back seven meetings.
That's great stuff. All right, we got more with Coach Dreiling next. Stick around. You're inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Talking Sooner defense with Nate Dreiling, and it's brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game with Gabe Ikert. I'm Chris Plank. Coach, before we dive into Auburn, I think Gabe and I do all the post-game interviews with the players as part of our sideline reporting. And all 3 games we've been able to talk to Samuel Omosigho. And I think everyone's kind of been waiting for that breakout season for him. Still got work to do, I'm sure, but what have you made of Samuel, incredible athlete, and that adjustment he's made to move into inside backer?
Yeah, the adjustment from outside to inside linebackers is very difficult. The game moves very fast inside. You have very minimal room for error, and he's a guy that's arguably, probably the best athlete on the team if you look at all of his numbers, and he's just shy, man. He's very intelligent, but the best part about it is his personality. As you guys know, he's glowing, he's always smiling, he's always comes prepared. He's been an absolute blast, and some of the plays he makes, man, you just scratch your head like, how is that even physically possible? But I can't wait to see how he's going to finish this year with how much he's already improved.
It seems like, and you look at him physically, clearly he's ready to play, but it seems like he's just scratching the surface, Nate.
Yeah, he is. He's rolling, man, and he's getting more and more comfortable.
Come on,
each
Grayson,
week.
catch the ball.
Yeah, I know, that's what I put there. But he's got a chance, man. Look at that. His technique's improving every single day. He's just so fun to coach. Look at this play. It's unbelievable. That's
Coach,
not normal.
Coach Venables said he's waiting for Sammy to run through someone's soul.
Yeah.
And whenever he got to finish the game at Michigan, the closer role when he made that last play, are you starting to see more of that physicality, maybe even, violence that you want to see from Samuel?
Yeah, you're starting to see him think less. So what happens now? Now you play faster, you play more physical, right? And that's why I talk about his trajectory is only going to continue to skyrocket as he gets more comfortable with the position. But couldn't be more impressed with him out of the gate.
Now, it's a crime that it's taken us this long to talk about Owen Heineke, but here we are.
I'm sorry.
And while it may be a surprise to a lot of the fan base, what Owen is doing out there on the field isn't a surprise to you guys at all. When I was out at practice, whether it's spring ball, training camp, this guy he makes plays, Coach. So what have you seen from him so far this season? It seems like he just shows up over and over and over again.
Yeah, easily the best lacrosse football player in the country right now, right? The deal with him, let's just talk about him on special teams. He's without a doubt our best special teams player.
Assassin.
Last 2 years. And he's taken that and he's turned it on to defense and it's only thrived. He's a guy that could very easily start for, I think, almost any team in the country. He comes off the bench but plays the same amount of plays. And when he's out there, man, the defense feels him, the offense feels him, the crowd feels him. He's got so much energy, and all he does is find the football, whether it's special teams or defense. So he's going to have an awesome second half of the year. Look at these plays that he makes. He's just got a great knack. Everyone says it all the time, knack for the ball. That's Owen Heineke.
That guard did not expect him to pour it downhill like that.
No.
And it made me happy. Now, you guys are putting him and Samuel on the field a lot in some of the obvious passing situations.
What's the thought behind getting those two guys on the field in those situations?
Yeah, I think Owen's kind of established himself as the best blitzer we have. He's very slippery when we try to block him. He can wiggle, he can sink his hips. So he does a great job adding. And then Sammy, with his background playing that cheetah position, safety position, when he matches up versus tight ends, it's something we feel very comfortable with, right? And obviously you get Sammy blitzing as well, but those two, it allows you to get into a lot of different defense, a lot of different looks, a lot of different patterns, not just blitzing, but also coverage-wise.
You guys talking about how you both were in college together at the same time? I went to college with Owen's dad, so there is quite the difference in age on that front.
We didn't have you point. We didn't
I just
have
wanted
to
to
point
point
that
it out.
out.
I just wanted to point it out. His dad Justin played at the University of Tulsa.
His uncle was a ball player.
Uncle Corey was here at the University of Oklahoma. But I just one more on Owen, and I feel like I say this with every single guy. Just a good kid.
Yeah.
Like it's someone that when you talk to him and you're around him, you can't help but root for him. And, it's great to see him having success.
Smiling, cheering other people on. I think the best thing about this room, man, if my players, if the starters ain't in or the backups ain't in, the other guys are watching and they're coaching them, right?
Wow.
And that's how you build a team. When the coaches can literally sit back and not do anything, and the players want everyone to improve, then you're gonna have a chance.
Hey, real quick, before we move on to Auburn, I want to ask about Kendall Daniels. Didn't see him against Temple, but boy, did we see him against Michigan. What an impact he's made in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's for his size and length, what he can do. We feel very comfortable with him out in man, covering slot receivers, and he's 6'5", 240. Not only that, he's one of the best blitzers on the team, and so he's a guy that'll play inside linebacker, play outside linebacker. We'll move all over based off what the needs are, but a very fun player to coach, and he makes my life easy.
Looking ahead to Auburn, I think it's fair to say your guys' biggest challenge yet, especially when you consider what they have along the offensive line, what they've got at running back. Just how excited are your guys for this challenge?
Yeah, the overall talent-wise, they're very well-rounded, right? That's obviously why they've been rolling out of the gate. Quarterback can run the ball, can throw the ball. They got arguably two of the best wide receivers in college football and an O-line that wants to pound the ball. So it's going to be a fun task. Coach V's been excited. We've had an unbelievable week of practice. Our practices are the most intense thing I've ever seen in my life. It's Coach V is 4th and 1 mentality. Well, it's Tuesday or working man Wednesday. You're going to see it throughout the whole practice, and but I think you need that to compete at this level, right? There's no off days. It's everyone working every single day as hard as they can.
Auburn's offensive line, as I've studied them, they do a good job of getting up to the second level, getting hands on backers. Have you shown your guys any of the old tapes, shocking and shedding, getting people off you? Come on, man.
I'm going to pull up the East-West tape of when you pancaked me on what not to do. No, they've hopefully we do enough stunting up front. Coach Bates' guys are so good where my guys run free most of the time. Hopefully we get another game of that.
That would be nice.
Well, okay, before we let you get out of here, you mentioned Coach Bates and that defensive line. Just take us through the advantage that you have in that backers room with how good that defensive line is playing. They really seem to do a nice job in freeing up your guys to make plays.
Yeah, I think we do so much stuff with them. First off, it kind of slows O-line down. They're a little hesitant with all the slanting and sticking. But then how many we play, I told the D-line last week, I would be so demoralized in being an offensive lineman. You're like, all right, the backups come in, and then you realize this guy might have been better than the starter who just went out.
Then it's David Stone.
And no one's
Wait
coming
a
to
second,
sub in
what?
for me. So that's what I love about most, the competitive depth that this team has, especially up front.
Man, you're awesome. Thanks so much for your time. Best of luck this weekend, and we appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Nate Dreiling inside the Coach's Corner. Gabe and I will wrap it up next. Presented by Riverwind Casino.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Coach's Corner is brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Final segment of Coach's Corner. I want to take a moment. I know we're 3-0, so everyone's in a great mood. But man, these coaches that have come in so far, the group that we've had through the 4 shows we've done now,
Unbelievable.
unreal. This is great. from.
This is great.
I don't know if I've ever been happier doing this show right now.
No, they've been it. Brent Venables is very big on the type of people that he brings in the program.
Absolutely.
That's players, that's coaches, and this staff is just tremendous to deal with.
I'm kicking myself that I forgot about you and him in the East-West Shrine game.
You
together.
shouldn't
Nate,
know
no.
that information.
We spent a lot of time
We're
together,
the
Gabe.
exact same age, Nate, and I've clearly known Nate for a long time now, and I was very, very excited when he found his way here. I think he's a tremendous guy and also a tremendous coach. So I'm hoping we can keep him around for a while, but he's so talented. It's not going to be easy.
You get the sense, and I think he impressed a lot of people with the job he did in a very tough situation last year at Utah State. It's just a matter of time before he's head coach somewhere.
You can say the same thing about a lot of guys on this staff. Arbuckle's name already popping up for some of these openings. Like, there are some young, frankly, coaching stars on this staff. The guys that there's just no doubt in my mind are going to be head coaches.
Our final segment, fifth segment of the show, is brought to you by Warren Catt, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics, which means we got to talk about Auburn. So let's take our Auburn Tiger snapshot. We know their quarterback, Jackson Arnold, here last year, and our preview of the Tigers is presented by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, Fan Field, athlete focused, and they have been a ground and pound team so far this year under Jackson Arnold, and they've looked pretty good starting 3-0.
Yeah, they want to run the ball. There's no doubt about it, and the good thing about that is we're one of the best teams against the run in the country on defense. So, and especially you take that 175-yard run that Michigan had out of the equation where we just lined up wrong, those numbers would be looking really, really good. But the thing that concerns you about Auburn offensively isn't going on long, sustained drives. Our defense has been so good down in, down out. It's hard for me to imagine, even with as good as Auburn's offensive line is, and as good as Jeremiah Cobb is at the running back position for him, it's hard to imagine them going on 10-play, 12-play, 14-play drives where they're picking up a bunch of third downs, maybe some fourth downs. Like, what scares you about their offense is the big play.
Right.
Jeremiah Cobb, if you get out of a gap, if a safety misses a tackle, like think about a couple of those situations against Illinois State where you had safeties making touchdown saving tackles. Jeremiah Cobb is the type of back that can make that guy miss and take it 40, 50, 60 for a touchdown. And then Auburn has the argument for the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in college football. Eric Singleton is a big play waiting to happen. I think he's the best player on their team, period. Cam Coleman, huge, super athletic, going to play outside. You know what you're going to get from him, but these guys are capable of turning your lights out with big plays. And that's what worries you about this group. Not Jackson Arnold keeping it on QB power.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Cobb, Singleton, and Coleman making huge plays, which can really shift a game. You can play really, really good defense all day long, but if you give up 5 or 6 explosives, then it's not going to be what you want it to be.
We got to affect the game again, Sooner Nation. Be loud, be proud, 2:30 kick. We'll start our pregame coverage at what? 11:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. How about that? We'll see you out at the party at the Palace. Thanks for joining us for Coach's Corner. For Gabe, I'm Plank. Until next week, Boomer Sooner, everybody. Stick around.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.